It's time to take this Corvette from good to great.
Hi, I'm Ivan. I'm Nick. This is DIY Detail. We have washed this Corvette and we're gonna be putting a coating on it. But we want to make sure that the surface is ready to accept the coating, and the best way to make sure it's ready to accept a coating is to polish it.
Do you actually have to polish a vehicle before you ceramic coat?
If you're guaranteed that there's no previous protection products on it, like a wax, like a sealant, then sure, go for it. But we know for a fact that this vehicle has had a lot of sealants on it in a very short amount of time.
We need to polish then.
Yes.
And not with our red jeweling pad.
No.
The yellow gold waffle pad will do the job?
Right, that is what we recommend. 25 millimeter stroke machine, the gold waffle pad, that is what we need to remove the sealants. This vehicle was in a photo shoot. If you go on Amazon and you look up DIY Detail, you'll probably see this vehicle in the background in some of those photos. And in doing so, let's just say we used a lot of Envy ceramic sealant on it. We used a lot of quick beads. We used a lot of wax. We need to get those off of the surface.
We absolutely do. And I guess I wonder, even if that wasn't the case for someone's vehicle at home, when might they want to polish and what might we accomplish with our gold waffle pad?
First of all, we're making sure the surface is as clean as it can be. Secondly, we're going to make it look better. This Corvette already looks great. We're going to make it look better by polishing. But we're not polishing to remove defects. We're not polishing to remove any clear coat. We're polishing to remove sealants, waxes, any protection products that are on it. And at the same time, we're not going to be removing a lot of paint, which is not something we want to do. And there's not many defects, if any, in this vehicle. I haven't found a scratch yet.
I mean, maybe it's someone's first time polishing, they're a little nervous, they still feel like there's so much information out there.
Yep.
Can you simplify this process for them as much as possible?
Right. Attach the pad to your polisher, try to get it as centered as possible. Then, this is a pad we've used on other vehicles. We need to clean it first. Couple sprays of rinseless wash. That's simple.
What is rinseless wash?
Diluted 256:1. It is our multi-purpose washing solution. It does many, many things for us, and you'll see we'll use it a couple different ways here.
I'm just saying, people get real confused by dilution ratios if they've never done this before. So 1 capful of rinseless wash to a gallon of water.
Yeah.
And then you can scoop your little sprayer into that gallon to dilute it. It's not that hard, but I just want to make sure there's no friction points for the beginner to be like, what is that? What's 256:1? All right, so that's what you use to clean your pad.
Or if you prefer 4 milliliters to a liter. Next, we put it onto the pad washer at the speed we're going to be using the machine. In my case, speed 2. Run it against the face of the pad washer, then bring it up to speed 6, the only reason speed 6 exists on these machines. Get the excess moisture out of the pad. We don't want a wet pad, we want a damp pad. Then from there, while it's still spinning, 1 spray of the gold standard polish. Not 2, not 3, 1 spray while it's spinning. And you don't want to aim at the center because you'll just fill the hole. You actually want to aim between the center and the outer edge as it's spinning. That gets polish everywhere on the pad. And then from there, we start polishing the car.
It's worth noting that, like, if you just were going to choose 1 pad in our lineup, 1 pad to start polishing, the yellow pad is it. You're going to get the best combination of cut and gloss, right? So like defect removal, quote unquote, and shiny finish. It kind of does it all. It's never going to be like, ooh, I'm going to level a ton of clear coat. It's never going to be like, ooh, I'm that final jeweling perfection. It just does that middle very well.
Right, and it goes farther than the middle. It does cut, it does do that. Now the other aspect that I'd like to point out, Nick's pad looks dirty. It's already done at least 6 or 7 cars. 1 pad has done 6 or 7 cars. We don't condone or don't suggest that you buy 20 pads to do a car, or even 10 pads to do a car. We suggest you buy 1 pad to do 10 cars. It's a lot easier that way.
It's wild. It's so much cheaper to do it this way.
Right, by cleaning your pad every time, meaning never put clean polish on a dirty pad. And when we say dirty, that one is stained. It's clean, it's just stained over time. From going over trim, and yes, we do polish the trim. From going over trim, things like that, you'll get a bit of that dye because there is black dye in trim and rubber. You get some of that dye that impregnates itself into the pad and stays there. No matter how we wash it, that little black is gonna stay, but the pad is clean.
Yep, so I'm gonna clean my pad, but even afterwards, it's still gonna look like this, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
As we mentioned, staining the pad from trim. I went over this A-pillar, which is a black plastic, and this is what I picked up. Not a big concern. We're gonna clean my pad. It might still stay stained from this, but I know my pad is clean.
We recommend cleaning your pad roughly every 2x2 section. I mean, you never want to put clean polish on a dirty pad, so never just be like, oh, I'm gonna put more polish on there and keep it going. But Ivan, sometimes I mentioned we suggest after every 2x2 section.
Right.
Sometimes you go further than 2x2, and I don't want to confuse people. You want to clean your pad after every section, but how big should the section be depending on the pad you're using? I want you to educate people.
It depends on the pad, depends on the paint. The more oxidation you have on the paint, the smaller the area you're going to work, and you'll see it and you'll feel it in your pad. If it starts getting jumpy, sticky, then yes, you want to clean your pad. If it's still gliding and going effortlessly over the surface, you're great, you can continue. Now, I'm not saying to do half the car, but you can stretch it out. I did the roof here, the B pillar, the A pillar, and the windshield. The windshield, we're not polishing to correct or do anything. We're just polishing to clean, and one quick little pass is all you need.
And if you're like me and you're just like, give me something I can do that's repeatable, that will work great,
Yeah.
clean it more often. That will never be a bad thing. It might take you a little extra time. Clean your pad often, you'll be totally great.
One question I get, Nick, once in a while is they see me polishing with one hand.
Yeah, we were both doing the one hand number on there.
And there's a couple of reasons for that. One, I'm not having to reach and bend over the car. I can just stretch out like this. I can stand up straight. But it has a lot to do with maintaining your body, because a lot of people, they hold on to the polisher too tight. And when you hold on to the polisher too tight, that's very hard on your hands, your joints, your elbow, your wrists, all of that. The other thing is, by switching it out, I use one hand for a few seconds, I'll use the other hand for a few more. The tool is balanced, it's easy to hold on with one hand, not a problem. And that way, I'm not straining my body by putting pressure on it and holding very tight and absorbing that vibration. Yes, tools have vibrations. We try to minimize those as much as possible, but no matter what you do, you are going to get vibrations. By switching out hands and not having the same hand on the same machine, exerting pressure for 5 minutes, relaxes your muscles and you can carry on.
It's worth noting that a lot of people on a cord-free tool are touching the battery, and the way that this tool is designed by Ivan was to get this battery right in the middle. So actually the handle's a handle.
Yeah.
And the balance is great. I love our cord-free dual action polisher, and I love it on speed 2, which is mind-blowing. I used to be a speed 6 guy. Pressure, heat, defect removal. That was my mentality. I removed sand scratches with our gold standard polish and the yellow pad. Well, I think it was our wool pad. It was the wool pad and gold standard on speed 2. I removed body shop sanding scratches on speed 2.
Yeah.
I thought I had to be speed 6, Ivan.
Yeah, no, not at all.
All right, so speed 2 it is. I guess it's probably important to talk about our goal here.
Right.
We know there were a lot of protection products, sealants applied to this paint. Like, how many passes do I need to do to remove those? How many to achieve gloss? How many to achieve defect, quote unquote, removal? Like, what am I thinking about in terms of passes?
Right, 3 passes, meaning left, right, up, down, left, right, if you want to do it that way. I tend to go always left to right. That's just me. That's my preferred way.
So the cross-hatching is not even better necessarily, just a teaching tool?
It's a teaching tool more than anything else. Your pad is still rotating. It's doing the same thing whether you're moving left or right or up and down. But we want to do at least 3 passes. Like we say, especially on the hood, it had a lot of sealant put on it.
It did.
Yeah, a lot of sealant, a lot of waxes. I think we used like half a bottle of Envy just on the hood. So that would be a little too much. Same thing with the wax, we used a lot there.
Well, that's why I said, should we use the wool? And you're like, no, the gold pad is enough.
No, the gold pad is enough, but we just want to make sure we do at least 3 passes.
Got it.
And you'll notice I'm wiping off the polish residue. Nick tends to leave it there, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with either way. There's nothing right with either way, which is more important. Basically, I have a more methodical mindset, and I'm done when I'm done. Nick likes to leave it there so he can see what he's done and what he hasn't done.
And you can leave gold standard polish on the paint for a long time,
Yeah.
so it's not hurting anything by leaving it there. So this is just my visual cue. Hey, Nick, you did that already. You don't need to do it again. That's very helpful for me, Ivan.
Yeah. And you'll notice I let it almost dry before wiping it off. So I go over it with the rinseless wash, let the rinseless wash emulsify it. Then when it's almost dry, that's when I go over it with the towel. It's a lot faster. And I was mentioning strategies for us older folks to maintain our muscles and joints. By doing this, I'm breaking it up. I'm not polishing for an hour and wiping off for 10 minutes. I'm polishing for 5, 10 minutes. I'm wiping off for a moment.
Ivan, it seems like there's this perception in the industry that waffle pads are more expensive. I used to love flat pads. Like I would have proudly 20 of them that I would swap out. Every section I would do a new pad because that was getting me the best finish, I thought.
Yeah.
I was cleaning them out with an air compressor. They wouldn't last that long. The foam started to degrade. But I was just convinced they were better than waffles.
Right, they're more marketed than waffles. But a waffle pad, yes, it's marginally a little more expensive to purchase. It's a lot less expensive to use. Couple reasons why. First of all, it's a smoother pad. It's a lot more fun to use. You don't have to angle to get into different areas. But also, because it keeps the paint cooler, it cuts faster, it cuts longer, it's not drying out the polish, whether you're using our polish or another brand of polish. And at the same time, what's happening is, since the pad is staying cooler, the foam doesn't degrade as quickly, meaning your pads last longer. So yes, the initial purchase might be a couple dollars more, but in the end, it ends up being a much better financial decision.
So how many pads, how many vehicles would you say will a waffle pad last you?
We normally, when we're filming, get minimum of 20 cars out of a pad, meaning if you're alone, that would be 10 cars. In our shops, our technicians regularly got 15 to 20 cars from a pad.
So if you're sitting at home and you're learning to polish,
Yeah.
you just want to invest in some rinseless wash, a pad washer, get yourself the polisher, and maybe get 2 pads if you're worried, or
Yeah.
just one.
No,
What would you do for an initial investment?
Well, actually, yes, I would actually get 3. I would get our red waffle pad, our gold waffle pad, and our wool pad.
So you wouldn't get 2 yellows. You just,
No,
one is
of each.
really all you need.
Yeah. I've broken this hood into 4 sections. I'm polishing a smaller section and going over it a little more frequently because I know just how much sealant and wax is on this hood. I want to make sure to get it all off. That's why I've broken it into smaller sections. But normally, if I was just, leftover sealant from a couple months ago, I would just do the standard 3 passes and I could do half the hood easily. But I've broken it into 4 sections. And the front, by the way, is paint protection film. We polish paint protection film just like paint, not a big deal.
Pro tip, you can let it ride with this polish. I mean, you can do 2 panels if you want. It'll last that long. But if I'm trying to get the most cut,
right,
and I'm at the end of those 2 panels and I see like what looks like a minor scratch and it's not coming out, I will go back to my pad and clean it.
Yeah.
And if I go back to that same section, it usually will level the clear just a little bit more. So a freshly cleaned pad I find, without any gunk from the clear coat in there and a fresh polish, cuts better. Right. Why is that?
Because basically you have a new pad. So we have a little more lubrication. That lubrication actually helps in the form of the rinseless wash that's in the pad from the pad washer. And you have fresh abrasive, and you, like you said, you don't have accumulated clear coat clogging the pores of that pad.
Reducing the ability of the pad to do what it does best.
Right.
All right.
If you look at the polish residue here, how it's even, and you can actually see the pad of the waffle pattern. Look at here. Looks like all little dots. That is the sealant. And until I've broken through that, I still have sealant on the surface. So I need to break through this. So just by watching your polish residue, you can see this, I have no sealant left. This, I still have sealant.
Uh-oh, Ivan. I'm scared.
Yeah, nothing to be scared about, Nick.
This will clean off, you right?
Yeah.
For the beginner out there, you polished a little bit of trim, you did it lightly, you're not using our wool pad. If you're gonna polish trim, always do it with a foam pad. The wool is too aggressive, but a couple of light passes, just like I did right here. And let's put in the pad washer. And it looks pretty good. There's still a little bit left over here. You could do a repeated application, or if you're really nervous, which you don't need to be, just a few sprays of all clean can be helpful. Again, I usually use more product than I need to, and I go way overboard, but if you're freaking out and you're worried about, oh my gosh, my pad is stained, work a little bit of all clean into the affected areas that you're concerned about. Learn on the pad washer one more time. And voila, this is just like the pad that we started with. It's clean, and I'm ready to polish.
Front bumper is all PPF, not a problem. As you can see, we polished it anyways. You want to polish the PPF. This one had a few insect strikes on the front. We've removed them.
So this is PPF. We see more bug gut etchings here. I'm just gonna see if, again, speed 2, gold standard polish, no pressure, what that can accomplish. Those etchings are totally gone. Not only are those etchings totally gone, it's proof that in 99% of the occasions, you're good with a 6-inch pad. Ivan was right, 6-inch pads are good. You don't need the 3-inch polishers. As much as they are fun, I don't believe they're truly necessary. One polishing tip here in tight spaces, just always give yourself a little safety bumper. So I'm not worried about the pad. I just wanna make sure I've got my finger here. And that way I'm not worried about the polisher bumping into the paint. So you're halfway done, your paint looks glossy, shiny, beautiful. I now am going to do my wipe off. You're a little bit faster than me typically, but again, there's no wrong way to do this.
No.
And if you're out there and you like letting your polish sit on there and wipe it off at the end, write in the comments below, Team Nick.
Right.
And if you like wiping off as you go, write Team Ivan. I'm just curious what the people like to do.
As Nick is so diligently wiping off his polish residue and doing a great job at it, I'm gonna be applying the adhesion promoter polish. The reason we're doing that in this video, we want to get this prepped 100% for the coating before going to the next video. Because the next video will be a coat and talk. Yes, we'll be coating it, talking to you all in one, so you can see how long it actually takes to coat a Corvette.
Question for you, Ivan.
Right.
Why use adhesion promoter polish? We've used panel prep for years.
Yeah.
That's the way I came up in the game. App replaces panel prep. If folks have never polished before, I'm sure they've never used app. So
Right.
what's going on?
So adhesion promoter polish is just as the name says. It promotes adhesion. A panel prep cleans the surface very well. That's all it does. The adhesion promoter polish gives you a lot more for your money, for your time invested. It doesn't take much longer to do this than apply a panel prep. But what the panel prep does is cleans the surface. This, not only does it clean the surface through chemicals, but also through agitation. So even deeper cleaning. Plus, this is the big plus, it actually swells the clear coat just a little bit. No, we're not gonna make it a 1/2 inch thick. It's just gonna swelling at about 1/2 micron. But that swelling means that it opens up the pores of the paint. And as it's opening up the pores of the paint, when we're applying the coating, it almost self-levels, but the coating now, instead of sitting on top of the paint, is sitting in the paint. And that makes a big difference.
Ivan, you said it's not much longer than panel prep. I'm convinced it's
Actually
fast
shorter,
or
yeah.
faster than panel prep.
Yeah.
And it's way more fun. I'm not just saying that, I'm on camera, I'm happy that, no, it's more fun than panel prep.
Right, because all you're doing is applying it to the surface like this. I like to go over the area twice, I'm done. This is ready to wipe off. I can wipe it off right now, or I can wait till Nick gets to it and wipes it off. Just as easy. You actually have about 48 hours before you need to wipe this off. So you could do this one evening and the next morning come back and wipe it off. It's up to you. And once you've wiped it off, there is no, oh rush, I have to put a coating on. No, go for lunch, go for supper, go home for the evening. Come back the next morning, and then you can apply the coating. It's up to you. There's no time limit on this, really. 48 hours is your time limit. As long as you see a little bit of residue, don't add more. More is not better. A little app will do you. And if you're old enough, you know what that reference was about. Tell us down below. Where Nick and I overlap, like on the hood, on the trunk, on the roof, I make sure that Nick has wiped his polish residue off before applying the app, because I don't want the two to mix. I'm gonna add one additional drop of adhesion promoter polish to my pad. Again, a little dab will do you. They've seen us wipe off app before, they've seen us apply app before, but if they want to see us coat a beautiful Corvette, and they don't want to wait till the next installment of this series, what video should they be watching right about now?
I think they should watch this video, which conveniently you can click on and continue the journey.